Hi there, this is Crystal, and I am back again today with another layout for Hip Kit Club. This one I've been challenged to scrapbook a selfie and to use only the main kit and the cardstock kit. So I have here the whole cardstock kit and the whole main kit, or at least what's left of it, what I haven't already used. And then I have a couple selfies. I'm not sure if I want to do color or black and white, so I've printed it both ways. Yeah, I'm not really sure. I don't have a plan yet for this layout. The other challenge was to use triangles or hexagons. So that is the other thing that I will be doing. Okay, so I'm just going to put you on fast forward and play around and see what I can come up with.
I'm going to start by just flipping through the papers, and I'm just looking really for anything that speaks to me. And this paper from Wildflower and Honey by Vicki Boutin is really calling my name. So that, in combination with the fact that I am supposed to use hexagons or triangles, just makes this a no-brainer for me. So that's where I'm starting. And then I'm just going to pull a few other papers that I think coordinate really well with this paper. So I'm looking for colors and patterns that will work with it. At this point, I still don't have any more of a plan than that. I just want to narrow down my options a little bit so I don't feel quite so overwhelmed. So these are the papers I think I'm going to work with, and based on that, I'm going to choose the black and white photo instead of the color. And then I'm going to look for a title, hoping maybe that will kind of steer the direction of the page. And I really like the sunshine word from these epoxy thickers from the Truly Grateful collection, and then that in combination with the hello from the ephemera pack from that same collection. So it's going to be Hello Sunshine. That's going to be my title. So I have that decided, and now I'm just trying to figure out where I can place that, and then I'll figure out where the papers are going to go on my page. So I'm just trimming out the word sunshine from this backing sheet. I'm keeping it on the backing sheet so that I can move it around so I don't have to commit right away to where I want it. And then I'm going to go through the ephemera pack. So this is the one from the Truly Grateful collection from Pink Paisley, designed by Paige Evans. And I'm going to pull out anything that I think might work on this page. And I'm not being super specific about where it's going to go or how it might work. I'm just looking for anything that I like the look of, that works with this selfie page that I'm creating, and that works with the colors in the papers that I've already chosen. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the other ephemera pack. This is the Frames pack from Pretty Little Studio. This is designed by Kim Watson, and they are absolutely gorgeous, especially these gold frames with the flowers on them. I love them so much. So I'm going to pull out one of those, and then I'm going to pull out a few leaves as well, because I think that those are just gorgeous as well. And I'm going to start there. So I've got quite a few things out on the page, probably more than I can use on this one page, but I have a starting spot. So that frame is the thing that inspired the layers around my photo. So I knew I really wanted it to kind of wrap around my photo, but it needed some separation. So I just grabbed a piece of printer paper. This is just super lightweight white printer paper, and I backed my photo with that. But I did cut it pretty close to my photo. I didn't mean to trim it quite so close. I will end up adding another sheet behind it, and I kind of like the look of that. Then it almost looks like tissue paper or something, you know, having the two layers, and they're kind of offset from each other, which you'll see here in a second, but I'm getting ahead of myself. So now back to the papers. I pulled out that Vicki Boutin paper that had inspired my colors for this page, and I thought maybe I would use it as a frame around the outside of the page, but you just couldn't see enough of it. I wanted to be able to see more of that pattern, so I'm not going to end up doing that. In the meantime, I did find this navy blue paper, which I love. It's oddly one of my favorite papers in this kit, but navy blue is my favorite color right now, so I am very drawn to it in all forms, I guess, but I thought it would add a really nice contrast behind my photo. So I just did another border around my photo with that paper, and then I can kind of tuck this frame in. So I tucked the flower up in the left-hand corner, and then I cut off the bottom half that you wouldn't be able to see since it's way too small to actually fit over the top of my photo, and I just added it to the bottom corner. And then here is where the hexagons are going to come into play. So I grabbed my hexagon punch. This is just a Fiskars hexagon punch, and that paper with all the little squares on it from Truly Grateful, and I just punched out a bunch of hexagons. I didn't make you watch that whole process because it was rather boring to watch, but I just, from all different random bits from that paper, I just cut tons of hexagons and just kind of laid them on the page to kind of get an idea of how they might work. And then I, from this paper from Heritage by Maggie Holmes, from Crate Paper, I just cut 2 little strips. I think they're about a 1/2 inch wide, and I'm going to add those strips to either side of my page. And I pulled everything off of the page, as you can see, because I know I want to bring out my sewing machine and stitch along these lines, just to give it a bit more texture and add a bit more interest to the page. So I'm going to grab my sewing machine here in a second and pull it out on my desk and just do a really, really simple straight stitch all the way down each side. I don't even get it very straight. For some reason my sewing machine has been pulling a little bit, and I need to look at it closer and see what's going on. But so the stitches aren't straight, but that's fine because I'm going to end up roughing up all of those edges anyway, and then that just kind of adds to that imperfect look. So to finish that off, I'm just adding a little bit of washi tape to the back of the page. I just bring those the threads around from the front to the back and just use a little bit of washi to adhere them into place and make sure that they don't go anywhere. Since I didn't back stitch on either end, this is going to make sure that those stitches stay in place. And then I can bring all the elements that I have been working with so far back onto the page and figure out really how this page is going to be laid out. So there is my photo and my title, and then I can start bringing in all of those hexagons and trying to figure out how they're actually going to work on the page. So I play around with this quite a bit because I'm trying to get a good balance of pattern and color, and trying not to make any one part of it look too heavy or to draw your eye too much, because I want the focus obviously to still be on my photo and my title. So these are really, just like embellishments, and I want them to stay that way. So I clearly don't have enough hexagons quite yet, so I'm going to go back and punch some more out of that paper. I had punched just around the edges, but I needed to cut some strips to get into all of those squares and be able to punch more of the pattern. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to use my paper trimmer to cut along the lines of the squares and then get into those center squares so I can punch more hexagons from this paper. And there are just so many different patterns on this paper that it took me a long time to decide which ones to use and which ones I liked best for this page. And this is a great bang for your buck kind of paper. You can do so much with all those little squares. So I used a ton on this page, as you can see, and I still have a lot left over. There's a lot of that paper left that I can do lots of things with. So if you're looking to stretch your dollar, that is definitely a good one to invest in. Okay, so again, I'm looking at embellishment. So I went back to this epoxy sticker sheet just to see if there was any other small piece that would work on this page. I did add those 2 birds to the page, and I like the way that those looked. I'm going to start adhering things down now. I think I'm headed down the right road. I'm heading in the right direction, so I can start adding some things to the page. And I don't make you watch all of that because I added a bunch of foam behind my title and behind my photo, and it took me quite a while to get it all adhered down. So I just fast forwarded through that a little bit for you. But now all of that is adhered to the page. The title, the sunshine portion of the title is popped up on foam. I had to cut tiny little pieces of foam squares to get that to adhere, but I really like the shadow that it creates behind that title. And then it can also overlap my photo, which I did pop up on foam as well. So if I hadn't popped up the sunshine portion of the title on foam, it wouldn't have been able to overlap my photo, and I really liked the way that that looked. So that was the main reason that I did it. And then the shadowing was just an added bonus. So now that pretty much everything else is stuck down, I can start adhering all of these hexagons. And I don't worry too much about getting them exactly lined up with each other. They're going to have little white borders in between them, just letting the white background show in between each one of them a little bit. So it doesn't matter that they don't have to be perfectly lined up for it to work. You can see I thought I needed to cut that one in half, and then I ended up, I didn't need to. I shouldn't have cut it in half, so I just punched another one to make it work in the spot where I had it. And just gonna adhere all of these down. They don't end up in the exact same space or places that I had them originally, which is fine. I think it still looks good to my eye, which is, you know, really all I'm going for here. I am kind of trying to do a small diagonal on the page, so the ones on the bottom will kind of flow to the right a little bit more. I don't want it to be like a straight up and down line, so I'm trying to get things to kind of flow from that top left corner over a little bit to the right as you go down the page. So keeping that in mind, and then it just comes down to distribution of color and pattern. I don't want any two colors right next to each other. I don't want a lot of dark colors right next to each other. I'm trying to just get a good balance. So I'm going to continue to adhere all of those down, and then I can add in some of the other little embellishments that I had pulled out, like those leaves and the birds, and adding some leaves to the top. Left corner of the photo and the bottom right corner of the photo, again trying to get that diagonal flow of the page going. And then I'm going to also pop up this little bird, so I popped up the one over the title, and I'm going to pop up this one again because it's overlapping my photo. And I'm still feeling like I need something else down there with those hexagons on the bottom, so I'm just looking through the papers again to see if I can find another little piece that will work where I can pop or I can punch, that is, another hexagon. So I tuck that one plaid one underneath the leaves, and that kind of fills in that spot that was looking a little bit empty. And then I still feel like I need maybe one more. So again, just looking at all these different patterns, trying to pick out one that will work best. I think I end up going with that blue pattern paper. Yep, that one right there. And then I can just adhere those two new additions down. So you can see I moved it over to the side. That's where I was trying to get that kind of flow from the diagonal flow from corner to corner of the page. And it's not really corner, it's just kind of towards the left side. Okay, so I decided to move the leaves from the top corner to the bottom corner so I could add that Rise and Shine die cut from the Truly Grateful ephemera pack. And I add that to the top corner just because to me, it makes more sense to have suns at the top of the page than at the bottom of the page. I certainly could have used it in the bottom corner, but it just makes more sense for me to have the sun at the top. And I did pop up just one side of that, so the bottom part tucks under that frame, and then the top part is popped up on foam, so it has a nice kind of flow on the page and adds some movement. And then I can adhere those leaves and the bird down to the bottom corner. And finally adhere these leaves down as well, since I hadn't done that yet. And yeah, I just adhered those flat to the page. I think I had considered using little foam dots behind those as well, but decided just to adhere them flat since I didn't want them to detract from the title, which is right next to them. So I'm going to add one of these little wooden buttons from the Pinkfresh Studio. These are the mixed embellishment pack from Just a Little Lovely, and I tried to add one of these enamel dots as well, but I'm not sure if that ends up making it on the page. I think I take it off. Yeah, I think I took it off, and instead just added another little enamel piece from these Truly Grateful enamel shapes. And since I added that one, I decided to add a couple more. So I just sprinkled 3 little hearts and a triangle around my photo, and I think I will also go back to this Pinkfresh Studio package and add some of the gold enamel dots. These gold enamel dots are absolutely gorgeous, like so pretty, and they just added the perfect little touch of gold to the page. There is gold in some of the other embellishments, obviously the frame that I put around the photo, as well as that hello title. There's a bit of gold in that, so this just added just another little touch of gold and made it all kind of make sense together. I think it was just the perfect finishing touch. So just really now down to finishing touches. So I'm going to rough up the edges of these strips of paper that I put on the side of my page just a little bit, just using my fingers. I'm kind of rolling the paper over in some spots so you can get a little peek of the blue that's on the other side of that paper. I'm also going to add my journaling. I'm going to do that right under my title. I think, yeah, I just went to go find my T-square ruler so I can make some lines right under my title for my journaling. And then finally, the last thing I'm going to do is add some gold splatters, and then that is this page all done. So I wanted to let you all know that this is going to be my last project with Hip Kit Club on the design team. I have enjoyed my time with the team so much, and the kits are so amazing. I've been truly inspired by everyone on this team and by everyone in the Facebook group to see everything that you've created, and to get all of your comments and encouragements has been just absolutely amazing. So thank you all so much for allowing me to share my projects with you. If you want to continue to see what I make outside of this design team, be sure to follow me on Instagram or on my own YouTube channel. I'll be sure to link those down below for you. And just thank you so much again. It has really been such a pleasure being on this team, and I'm a little sad to say goodbye, but I'm moving on to other things. So yeah, it's a good thing. So thanks again, and I will see you all soon. Bye-bye.